Yo, 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 what's the deal? It's your boy Wave, and we here at the Wavelink with our first reaction. We're gonna do a deep dive over the next couple of weeks and months, however long it takes for them to show us what's really going on here. Need to know what's really going on here. Aliens real? They fake? Is it the government doing experiments? Is it AI? Is it interdimension? What is really going on here? So we're gonna jump into none other than Big Dog, Joe Rogan, one of my idols. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan. All the work bro has been doing, his comedian career, UFC. It keep going. But we gonna jump into a couple of clips from bro podcast, Joe Rogan Experience, with them talking to guests about aliens, their point of view on it, and he gets with government officials and ex-CIA and military, many more. So we're gonna do a light dive into it. You know what I'm saying? Our boy Joe Rogan, big shout out for you, bro. Jump into this.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
What do you think the UFO phenomenon is?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, that there are a lot of different varieties of it. But when we look at, like we were looking at the Francis of Assisi and the kind of historical things and the abductions and things like that, I think that it's been around for a long time, and that these are things that are in communication with us. So I used what I do in my book, both the books that I wrote about this, is I talk to people who I think represent thousands of people. So each person in the book represents thousands, if not more, maybe many thousands of people who have had experiences and the ways in which they interpret them. Around for a long time. All of the people seem to have had experiences where now what they want to do is they actually want to work for justice in different ways. Like Jose, the veteran in my book, he's working with young people and helping them deal with being addicted to social media and things like that, and helping them get through life, which is really hard right now. And that's what he's doing. And then you look at Dr. Whiteley, right? So she's working in this space where she's trying to, help people deal with the fact that they're seeing things that, that could down planes and things like that. And she's helping people talk about that. She's helping people. Each person is somehow doing what I'm suggesting that I think is an out to this kind of structural injustice that we see. So I think that this is a transformational thing without the drugs is what's going on, like some kind of massive experience that people are having, and now it's getting out and people are being able to talk to each other through Reddit communities and, different types of social media. So it is, we did see, religions when they become viral at one point. We've never seen it in an age where we have digital technology, but this is what we're seeing now.
What do you think the physical objects are?
Well, okay, so this is something that's very interesting. We just looked at the Shroud of Turin. I believe that there are these, I would call them, and this is just my own non-scientific term, interdimensional objects. They're objects that have characteristics of our dimension and some other dimension.
So some other dimension has the capability, or something from some other dimension has the capability of transporting a physical object into our realm.
Or even imprinting.
See, when she says that, it's a little hard to believe when she's saying it like that, because the fact of the matter is we're saying that we have never seen this technology before. This is something greater than we have ever created. This is something that surpasses the knowledge we have on Earth right now. So for her to say similar, I'm not really getting it. We're heading into the drone era now. You know, and a lot of people do have the view as if, you know, we learned the knowledge and lost the knowledge. You know what I'm saying it could definitely have been erased. We have seen them cut noses off of sphinxes. We have seen them, you know, paint people which color they wanted to paint them. We have seen them, you know, change the calendar on us. Weather, all that good stuff. And at the same time, to say that it's similar to things we have, like, not in my lifetime did we create planes, but it seems like in the last 100 years they have just made planes, and like it wasn't no planes. Well, not 100, of course. Planes have been out for I'm sure hundreds now, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, back in the early ages, it was boats and, you know, traveling. So we are flying, but jets are not able to, you know, it's up, down, side to side. These are moving in any direction that they want. They're doing what they want. Just on that part, I just gotta say, like, I don't know where she headed with that one. Yeah.
Realm.
Or even imprinting onto a physical object. Yeah.
How so?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think
What
that's
do you mean by, what does that mean, imprinting onto
so
a
with the
physical
Shroud
object?
Turin,
Okay.
we see the imprint of, you know, the image, and
If it's real.
yeah, if it's real. But it's an anomalous object. So we do have, from Gary Nolan, engineered objects that we don't know how they're engineered, but they definitely look like they're, you know, it's off planet. I would call the kinds of things that we see in the historical record interdimensional type of things. Now, how? I don't know, Joe. Okay, so I just don't know. But I do think that scientists in the government know that these things exist, and they would like to figure it out. And so part of disclosure, the disclosure movement, is outsourcing this and trying to get as many people as possible to help in figuring it out.
What do you think when they use the term donations? What do you think the purpose of that is? If there is an object that is purposely released into our, you know, like, I'm sure you're aware of cargo cults,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So with cargo cults, for people that don't know, there's been some islands during World War I and World War II where planes landed there and they left, and these people, they created these statues of these planes and they worshiped them. And they
wanted them to come back.
Yes.
Yeah,
wanted them
because
to
they
come
got
back.
food and you know, all
Yes.
kinds of wonderful things from the planes.
Right. And
yeah, like they thought of them as deities.
Right. The same.
So what they're talking about is
Yeah, like they thought of
much,
them as deities.
Right. The
people
same
in the
way
jungle.
we would think of.
people in the jungle find planes, or people in third world countries find planes, and they're like, oh, the God sent it to us. And, you know, it's interesting. I was having this talk with a friend of mine about how we might be in the middle. You know what I'm saying? There's still hunter-gatherers living today in the forest, in the mountains, in the woods. I've been to Cambodia and I've seen, you know, stick people. I no disrespect, I don't mean to, you know, categorize them, but I do remember seeing people living in the woods, in the sticks, and it's right there. You know what I'm saying? So we do still have that. We do still have videos where people go visit in, you know, in third world countries a lot, and nobody's living like us over here in America. not saying nobody, but like a lot of places, people are like, whoa. And on the other hand, you got people living like that, and you know, they got a tribe that's superhuman. They could run faster, run longer, lift more. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily fighting lions, you know, I'm sure, but they got hyenas as pets and so forth and so on. So we are living in a world where it is a lot of this going on. It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Something from
Like
somewhere
this.
else.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that in my field has been called the cargo cult, the UFO cargo cult, right? And obviously, Tyler and James view these parts as donate. They call it the donation site, right? So, giving it the idea
Is that just one theory?
Yeah, that's just one theory.
Are there other theories that there's a biological organism that encounters a lightning storm and it actually crashes and there's physical bodies?
Oh yeah,
that
there is that. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Going
What's your
around.
take on that? Because that's one of the things that Grush talked about and some of the other people talked about, that there are biological things that have been recovered.
Well, what impressed me about what he said was that he used the term biologics. And I actually know that term because that's the same term that Tyler was talking about when he was creating materials in anti-gravity spaces on space shuttles and such. So I was wondering, because David Grush does get his information from people allegedly in the programs, but he's never seen these materials that I know of.
I think he has some firsthand experience that he was not able to talk about.
Okay.
That he's alluding to.
Okay.
I think, but this is recent, and he's been very careful about how he releases this
So they're literally talking
information
about
and what he's able to release and not
fact
able to
that-
release. And
Right.
that I was like, okay,
Yeah.
really?
So I mean, I've not seen any.
So pretty much saying that she's like, I don't know, because it sounds like she seen something. In the beginning, it sounds like she's about to say, and she's about to say she hasn't really seen it. So it's like, what mean by that? Because it sounded like she wanted to say something not a part of the government. I don't have to get clearance and I could talk about what I want. But it seemed like she wanted to say something. Like I said, we don't know what this is yet. This could be real. This could be fake. This could be a hoax. This could be about much more than what we think. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of views on extraterrestrials, aliens, UAPs, and UFOs, you know, Roswells, and all this stuff. But I don't know. Let's see what she finishes up with.
Bodies, nor have I seen intact craft, but I also have had, now remember, I don't have a clearance like he has, so I can actually talk about what people have told me.
That's what she
I
says.
have had people tell me that, yes, Diana, there are intact craft. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Who told you though? Who told you that it was?
I don't know, Joe.
Have you studied Bob Lazar?
Okay, yes, I am always asked about Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I can tell you that people that I've met who are associated with the programs tell me that he's right. Now I know his background and I know, you know, all the things. I don't have an opinion one way or the other, but I can also say that a lot of times people with very disturbing backgrounds, you know, who could be easily discredited are given information and shown things and told things.
Well, I would think that that's sort of like a little escape clause.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is.
I mean, the guy's obviously a genius and was obviously a propulsion expert. Put a fucking jet engine on a Honda. And like
So they literally just said that the government hired questionable people. So when it come down to it, they could X him out as crazy. They literally just said, yeah, but I believe, you know what I'm saying? He's off his rocker a little bit, and that's what they like. They hire these people knowing just in case. He been to the mental institute a couple times. He got hit on his head one too many times. Nah. You think we would give a guy like this clearance? Ooh, the government? Nah, we don't run a ship like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, quick to disown. The government quick to disown. Like, what? That's a crazy statement right there. Because she just says she don't have clearance. She's not a... But at the same time, she talking with these folks. These are people she's in the circle with. So, you know what I mean? It's wild for them to say things like that. Like, oh yeah, scapegoat. Throw it all on him. If he exposed us as this, we'll discredit him. You know, we'll put these words all around his name, and you know, nobody's gonna care about what he says. That's crazy. That's crazy, right?
1980s. He's a
No, I know.
fascinating guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he claims that there's some element that exists in other places in the universe, which leads me to believe. Well, not even to believe, but like, so here's the question: are some of these things from other planets? Is that also in the equation? I mean, just because something is traveling interdimensionally, we do know that there are an infinite number of planets in the universe. I mean, we have no idea how many of them are capable of supporting human-like life or some other kind of life or an infinite number of varieties of life. And if that life can do what we've done and get to some part of its progression where it's capable of creating what we're calling artificial intelligence or super advanced technology, why wouldn't it come here?
Yes, I'm not discounting ET.
So that could be there too.
I think so, especially because of the ways in which the materials are being manufactured off planet, like the ones that we just saw. And that was information when I met Tyler 2014, and now it's a full-on thing that's happening, right? So it's a supercharged program of creating things that will help us off planet. I mean, certainly then, yeah, I think so. I mean, but I don't know.
Right.
So I have to just be honest.
So it might be a bunch of different things happening all at the same time, interdimensionally, extraterrestrially, something from a distant galaxy that's figured out some new method of propulsion that's beyond our imagination that can visit, and then all.
So they literally just got to the point where they're saying there's aliens and there's time travel pretty much. So interdimension got to be time travel. And then extraterrestrial got to be from up there or down there. We ain't talking about heaven or, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about the ocean or the sky. So that's crazy. So, you know, if you have studied or been interested in UFOs or aliens or any extraterrestrials, you know, they say, we got the round with the ball in the middle, circular joint, you know what I'm saying? But then we got, you know, rectangle joints. They got pyramid shaped joints, force fields around it or vice versa. And, you know, there's different shapes. The jellyfish shaped joint, you know, so there's a lot of different shapes. So yo, what's up? What's up? Appreciate you tapping in. But there's a lot of shapes of these UAPs that they have said they have seen. So what they're talking is pretty much that it's multiple people visiting us is what they have got to right now. It's multiple people doing what you know we think aliens are. it's aliens from here, it's aliens from there. In a sense, like different countries. You know what I mean? They got their own thing going. They gonna have their own ships. They're gonna have their own way of getting here. And if we do have people in the ocean or in the sky, then they in the ocean, they could come whenever they want. You know what I'm saying? They live here. And yes indeed, we watching Joe Rogan doing a couple of reactions on this alien phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's popping. It seems like it's about to hit the fan. So what's the government gonna do? What's the next move? The people may or may not want to know. The people may or may not be ready for what it is. It might be all hoax. It might be trill. We don't know. Show us something. But if they show us, how will they go about? Who are these whistleblowers? You know, there's combo that they could be plants. The whistleblowers could be plants. You know what I'm saying? And they're feeding us false information. We got stories on people saying aliens are real, but these are fake stories. So we have that from the government. That's on wax. You know what I'm saying? So what we here to do is eat up all the information, do our own, you know what I'm saying? Do our own research and our own, you know what I'm saying? 1-2s, and we're going to see what they got for us, because it's a lot of talk. I like Joe because he agrees with things. He agrees and he disagrees with things, but he also keeps an open mind. He also just wants to know what is real. Like, he wants to know too. Like, yo, let me know. Can you tell me and show me a video? Because we've seen many people come on this show and be like, oh yeah, I seen them. I was kicking it with the aliens, man. We had a 6-pack, just a barbecue, and no one else has really done this. So we will hopefully get to the big unveil of a real alien, not that Mexico alien. You know what I'm saying? Not to say he's not real. I don't know. They said they from different places. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Let's see what she got to say to that.
Also, things that are coming here from other dimensions.
Yes. And even recently, somebody had, I can't say anything. I can't say I'm sorry. I don't want to be that person that goes on your show and says, I can't.
But like I just said, she just stated, I understand she don't want to release her source name. Cut his gut open and, you know what I'm saying, spill the info. But shorty just stated, I do not have clearance. I do not work for the man. I could tell you everything. She straight up said, I could tell you everything. And what did she say? I don't want to be that person. All right, shorty.
I can't say that. But I probably... most likely there are... if there's crash retrievals here on Earth, perhaps there are in space as well.
Do you... When they talk about inventions that emerged post-Roswell, that's one of the points of speculation, is that we have back-engineered something, and that this led to the creation of fiber optics and a lot of other technologies that seem to emerge after that time.
Yeah. So this question was prominent in my mind in 2012 when I met Jacques Vallée. So I was already aware of his work, even as a person who hadn't studied UFOs or even believed in them. Jacques Vallée is just one of these people, right, that you come across his work and he's fascinating. So I thought it was strange that not only was he a person who was, pre-engineered ARPANET, right?
Hey,
he was on ARPANET, which is pre-internet. He was creating that. But at the same time
that's
being
what you think.
Obsessed
did you
with
do
UFOs
your research to get there?
Being a ufologist.
Or is that just how you?
These things seemed just what you believe? That they had to be together, right? There was something that.
Shout out to King.
What's going on here? So,
Shout out to Juice.
And I'm in touch with him. often. And he says a lot of things that are rather cryptic, but sometimes I ask him specifically, was what you were doing on ARPANET related to back-engineered UFO parts? And then he'd say something like, there are many secrets in Silicon Valley. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's real cryptic.
So he's trying to
He's
tell you
kinda
without
difficult
telling
to
you.
have a conversation with publicly. You know?
Well, it does have a lot. I guess there are lots of secrets in Silicon Valley.
Of course.
Which is where he lives.
Yeah. Another thing that was really fascinating about your book was you were talking about how much religion he studied.
Yes. Yes. That was really interesting. So in the book, what I do is I uncover not just him, but Alan Hynek. They were friends. And they were both.
Well, the wild thing about religion is, people think that some people think that, the gods and the people that they put in the Bible were aliens, so that's where I believe the communication gets, cross-wired. You dig? The wires are crossed because people are saying, oh, the gods were really aliens. These weren't gods. And so when you believe, that takes away from your beliefs. And Billy Carson is one of those people who believe that these stories were about aliens. They're not about gods and so forth. But like I said, we're just here to do the research. We ain't seen none of them. You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen none of them, so we can't say what's real. But if we got people in the government showing us the paperwork, the videos, and all that, what can we do but, agree or disagree? Believe half of what you see and none of what you heard. You heard? It's hard. Hey, Juice. Half the world is right there with you because it makes sense. It makes sense if aliens are this powerful and this ahead of time, and all the stories are about people coming from down and spreading the love and showing them the way. It's multiple stories about the flood all over the world and these people who came after the flood to help out and build, and the pyramid has never been replicated. That's the thing. We build skyscrapers, we built things just as big and tall, but nothing has come close to what they did with them pyramids, and we still don't know the day they were built. So for that to be said, it could be something to the effect of, we got wiped out and the memory is gone, or you know what I'm saying, somebody was here helping us. Who else is lifting these things, cutting this stone and moving it miles and miles? I hope y'all watch Graham Hancock and all those people, because they talk about how far they were moving these things. And this wasn't just like, oh, this was a big brick and they cut this joint into a pyramid. Nah. And we saw in books back in the day 500 or 1,000 people carrying this heavy thing up. But be honest, bro, 1,000 people lifting something and putting it on their shoulder and mobbing? Stop it. There is one God. Who is outside of. If you say that, so is there other dimensions? Is there other times? Is there other places? That's all. We just want to know. Is there a different God on Mars? Is there a different God on Saturn? Because I just realized that, yeah, okay, we got telescopes and satellites and all that good stuff, but since we were young, we knew what these planets look like vividly. Who did that research? Where did that come from? I just want to know. That's all. I just want to know the information.
Rosicrucians, which is a form of, he might not like me to say this, but it's a form of mystical Christianity in a sense. But a lot of Rosicrucians don't view their roots as Christian. They look at it as Egyptian, but it's basically, it's an esoteric tradition, and it involves meditation. I think it most likely involves this thing that you and I have been discussing in this, the whole talk so far, is the pineal gland thing, you know, the access point, because both of them believe in this kind of life, this meditating and things like that. And so I included references.
It's a question.
Everything I say in my
Who
books,
knows?
by the way, I pass
I don't.
to the person that I'm writing the chapter about. So everything that I said about Jacques, I gave it to him beforehand, and I said, are you okay with me saying this publicly? And so it passed all the tests. I also talk about going to his apartment and seeing his library, which is an amazing library. And he has stained glass from Chartres Cathedral. And Chartres Cathedral is a special place for Rosicrucians, like a special place of presence of the sacred. So, and he actually did those himself. So he learned how to do stained glass from people at Chartres, by the way. And yeah, just amazing. And he had a lot of books on angels and fallen angels in that library, like almost like it was almost like going into the Vatican archive, going into this place, because these looked like first editions or close. So, you know, really, really old books.
Sorry, chat, but who has the knowledge to write books on angels and fallen angels? Who has the knowledge? And I understand how the government worked, because there was somebody who passed away not too far from my house, and they had the whole block locked off. It wasn't a violent crime, it was an accident. I think he just fell, old man or something, just fell and hit his head or some non-violent, but where it was an entrance into a shopping center, and they shut it down, made people go the whole other way. I seen this old lady, she was walking down the street and she didn't really know what was going on, and the cops dang near ran down on her like, get out of here. So I could imagine if something fell from the sky, as soon as the government get it, they probably closed the whole city. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I just don't know. It's like, what do you mean by this? Because I could see them hiding everything from us. They hide it from us in plain sight. You know what I'm saying? So if there was crashes, if there was these things, we would never know about it if they didn't want to. They put a white sheet over it and be like, something happened over there, don't go over there. So I don't know. And she's talking about angels and fallen angels. Okay, Kingdom. Okay. And I accept that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely accept what you're saying. And that is, you know, that is a way of living. Everybody has their own way of living, though. Even here on this earth, there's different religions, there's different beliefs, there is a lot of different people. You know what I'm saying? We all don't look alike. It's honest. We all don't. So, you know what I mean? God does, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's a conversation to have, because we're in 2025 now, and you know, all that ancient stuff was in different languages, and you know, it's been rewritten over and over and over. So with that said, we have the Mandela effect with little things, with small things like company logos, and you know, things that really don't even matter to our society, our progress. So for one to be, I don't want to say ignorant and say that everything that they put in this book is real. I can't necessarily say that, because it's been rewritten by multiple people different times, unless they was like, yo, this is the straight copy of the first joint. This is straight from the horse's mouth. This guy handwriting on this joint, you know, not like that. No funnies, but you know, it's to that point, because I use this a lot. History books just remove slavery, but if you go back 4 or 5 years ago, it was all in there. But if they took it out, would we know? 10, 20 years from now, if they agree, and you know what Florida's doing, and they take it all out, will that be the new normal? Will that be the new reality? Will that be the new truth? Is all I'm saying. And I haven't read a book about fallen angels. I haven't read a book about angels. So that's me with my reaction to that, because that is very interesting to me, because it sounds like aliens crashing, fallen angels. Like I it might be something else. I might be thinking physically falling angels, but I'm just saying, if something falls out the sky and it's not from an airplane or a parachute or, you know, a freak accident, what an angel just fell from the sky?
About this topic.
Fallen angel.
Yeah. I was pretty shocked when I went. We were going to have lunch and talk about the crash site, and maybe talk about, you know, what I learned from Tyler and that kind of thing. And we went to lunch, and then he said, do you want to see the library? And I was like, yes, of course. So I saw the handwritten documents from Project Blue Book. And that was just going into the library. That wasn't actually in the library. Then when we got in there, I noticed big bookcases of these books, and of course I was drawn to them. And he said he picked out one and he opened it, and it was about angels, and he said, this is a book about angels. And I could see that, and I was looking at it, I was like, wow. And then I looked at the other bookshelf, and that bookshelf was just as impressive. And then it was about fallen angels. He said, oh, this one's about fallen angels. And then he made a joke, and he said, you can't have one without the other. And I thought that was really interesting.
It's hard, man. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Shout out to the wave,
That's
man. Thank you for joining the wave. You know what I'm saying?
And I was actually shocked at that point. I was like, wow. So just, you know, I'm a professor of religion, you know, so I'm like, I'm right about, you know, my intuition was somehow confirmed.
And by the way, I think.
But the beautiful thing about that statement that she made is the guy who is researching aliens and extraterrestrials believes in gods, believes in angels, believes in this. So therefore, it doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other, is what I got from that. That's what I got from it. She's saying he's reading about it. He wants to know. He wants to know if they align, maybe, if there's something similar, or what's going on over here and what's going on over here. This could be two totally different things. They're definitely could be a god. And there definitely could be aliens. There cannot be a god. There cannot be aliens. We don't have the fine print is all I'm saying. If we had the handwritten, like Shorty said before she walked through, she had the handwritten, seen that. That's a little different. That's a little different. I don't know. For me, if you handwrite something, a little bit more believable. But for real, like, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And that's all I'm saying is, during this, during each time it was rewritten, it had to be rewritten in their favor. They have all these things that they say, we have now we have the information that they have taken things out the Bible. They don't want you to know these things. They don't, but that's my thing is, if you want me to be great, tell me everything I'm up against. Tell me everything I'm going to run into in this world. Don't hide it from me because it makes it work for you. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Don't switch out the linen for plastic. don't kill me with pills. Give me the fruits. You know what I'm saying? Why don't doctors give you fruits and vegetables and, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Why is it all pill form and this and that? And then we find out this is not good for us. That's all I want to know. Give me the real. I want the real, bud. Don't pick and choose what I could read about this and that. Like, put it all out there and let me believe what I believe. How about that?
People, I think this should be, I'm not sure if this is totally true, but I believe he was the inspiration for the French character in Close Encounters of the Third.
Man, super wild, super interesting. I loved her point of view. I wanted to watch that because of her bringing up the fallen angels and that correlating to bro doing the research on aliens. And I think that is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't knock none of it. Information is the information and we need it. You know what I'm saying? And we need it. We get it. Play with it. Don't play with us. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just fucking.
Just want everybody to see his painting.
Yeah, he's just nuts. He's just fucking rich, crazy guy with way too much time on his hands. And when I saw that, I was like, bro, like, once you reach a level of money, like, you probably just do crazy shit just for the fuck out, just because you can. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Especially if all you do is make money. Like, that's what those dominatrix ladies always say. That their clients are always these guys who are like these CEOs of mega corporations, and they just want to get pissed on and yelled at and slapped.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, they want to get tied up and thrown in the corner. Shut the fuck up. They come over and kick them in the balls. They want that.
Bro, did you ever seen that movie? I mean, it's like they made the movie about the movie The Room.
Kingdom. Okay. I do agree with that. I do agree with that last statement. We are too prideful, but it's not our fault. It's the media's fault. We were fed this lifestyle. We were spoon fed. It was down our throats, especially if we're in the States. Oh, golly. If you don't have a Benz Bentley or a Beamer, you know what I'm saying? You nothing. You not popping. You not this and that. It's not about knowledge. It's not about knowledge. Hopefully in beautiful circles it is, but you know what I'm saying? It's not. Ha, shout out to Juice. Hey, shout out to the two Juices. You know what I'm saying? Say that. We are seeking the truth. And we are. And, they say the more you seek, you will end up closer to God. They say that. They say that. Yo, what's the deal? Shout out to my guy in the building. You know what I'm saying? The realest poltergeist. Yes, sir. Big shout out to my guy. Go follow him on Twitch, you dig? Shout out to the juices in the building. You know what I'm saying? Big Juice Man 562. Showing mad love. You know what I'm saying? But my man Juice World been in here from the top. You know what I'm saying? My man Juice Man been in here from the top. You know what I'm saying? Is that? Oh, I was like, man, yeah, but man, say that. But like I said, if I can't judge off of not what they say, but what they said he said. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what up, twin? That's the energy I like, baby. Link up. You know what I'm saying? It's the way link. You know what I'm saying? But I totally understand, but it's hard because, like I said, he's been rewritten multiple times. I want the real one. I just want the real. Let me get it. Put all the books together and let me get the real knowledge about it. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was like Tommy Wiseau or what's his name? I don't remember his name. I was messing up. But there's that scene.
Big shout out LA. Yeah.
That made fun of the
Be
movie.
on the West Side too, baby. Shout out to the West
goes
Side.
to the bank and he's
Right.
like, I want to cash this check. And they're like, all right, yeah. And he's like, holy shit, it worked. And the bank teller's telling him, he's just like, this guy's bank account.
Shout out
a
Dallas.
bottomless pit. That amount of money has to be kind of scary though. Because you either go make shitty movies with your money that you don't know what the fuck you're doing, like that guy, which is funny, or you also do scary shit. Like that's a scary amount of money to have. So I know people who like, you know, struggle financially, probably like, oh man, if I could just have this money, if I could just have that money. Like, yeah, life would be easier. But if there's no challenge, if there's no maze to run through, what are you really gonna do with that much free time?
I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get in a homemade submarine and die in the ocean.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
people are
those
fucking-
dudes.
That's what rich people
what
do.
that was
Wild, crazy
$250,000
things.
a ticket to get in that submarine.
Hey man, I appreciate
The
that.
submarine
Shout
had
out
no
to my
windows,
man.
Well, it had like little
Juice,
small windows.
man.
You don't really see. You're seeing things through a
Shout
screen.
out to
Man, call
Juice
me old.
Man 562 in the building. Hit that like button for the kid one time. You already know, man. It's okay. We gonna do this, and then they gonna feel us. You dig? You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta do it for all that. We gonna do it for the real ones in the building. You know what I'm saying? Bro, that is crazy. They paid $200,000 to pass away in a submarine with no windows. They said the windows. Come on, man. Come on,
It's
man.
cool, but I feel like if I spend
What you doing with all that
$250,000
money,
on a
man?
ticket,
Help somebody
I want
out.
Like a luxurious experience.
Help
I wanna
somebody
see
out.
The fucking ocean,
Yeah.
not through a tiny little
Clearly.
screen. I want communication with the outside world. Like I don't know.
Nah, we want more
do
for
wanna
our
get
money.
rich. Don't get me wrong. I do want to get rich because I feel like pretty soon, there. You know,
What are you going to buy?
I
What
just
kind of
want-
car are you going to get?
I mean, I'm not too worried about all that. I really want to
Come on,
save
man.
money
You
to
like
like.
painting? Don't you want a
I
dope
want to
car?
go to the moon.
Hey, I already know, Juice Man.
Yeah,
Hey,
Elon
you the
Musk is
OG
probably
Juice
gonna offer
Man. You know what I'm
rides
saying?
soon,
I can't even hold it. You the OG Juice Man.
$250,000 a ticket.
Bro,
I think you could already
and-
get into space for
And
that
you've been
amount,
tapped
Cheddar.
in since
Yeah?
the top of
Yeah,
the video.
I think you can
know
get
what
into
I'm saying?
space
So,
for like $250.
much love, bro.
I want to go to space.
Much
Like the
love.
Blue Origin. Don't they fly people into space? Bro, you want to wait a few years.
Yeah, I definitely want them to get the kinks
Yeah,
out.
get
You
the
know what I mean?
kinks out.
Work out the glitches
You don't
and shit.
want to. You don't want to die in a fiery ball of hell,
Yeah.
crashing into the ocean, burning alive.
Nah. Yeah.
Blue Origin for suborbital flights. Blue Origin typically charges around $200,000 to
You see this?
$300,000 per person. The cost includes a 1-hour flight and a 3-hour preparation program for those looking to go into orbit. Blue Origin's orbital launch services range from $50 million to $100 million per person. Yo,
That's a big difference.
that is a giant difference.
All right.
So they're saying they'll send you up for 200 to 300. They'll send you up for an hour. For 1 hour, that's a plane ride from LA to Vegas. They'll send you up for 1 hour for a whopping 300. For a whopping 300. 1 hour? It don't guarantee you come back down. You paying $300 to go up for 1 hour, but it's 50 million or 100 million to launch. Not, they say not to space, just right over Earth. 100 million just to get right over Earth and look down. What? Hey, people, go skydiving. Go skydiving. I think it's a few hundred. Go skydiving all over the world. Just go stop. Just literally, you wouldn't even spend 100 million if you went to every single city in the world and skydived. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. We selling tickets. Me and Poltergeist selling tickets to space, man. Nah. But for real. How do you trust it, bro? How can you trust it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you trust it when we don't know what's going on? Like, I mean, they say people have went and came, but how can you trust it? My man said I'm good on the heights. Nah, I feel you, Juice, man. I feel you, bro. But it's like, yo, you're charging people 100 million? 100 million per person. So what's the $50 million pack? But what's the $100 million? What, like, is it what, 2 hours to a 4 hour trip, or is it like, because I already know 200,000 only giving me an hour, 300,000 only giving me an hour, and I'm only going right over the top of the, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going a little bit probably higher than a plane would go, or maybe twice as high as a plane would go per se, and I'm looking down, so I'm gonna see clouds and maybe landscaping, or maybe a state, maybe 2 states, but then from that high, they said you can't even see stars, really. Like, what are we paying for? What are we paying for, people? America, the world. What are we really paying for? What are these price tags? 200, 300, 50 mil, 100 mil. What are these price tags? Who has this kind of money?
Suborbital. Is that good?
You go up for, I think.
Is that good? He's asking. Like, what did that give me?
How far do you go? What's the height? What's suborbital?
Suborbital means you're not going out technically of the range where you need to go. You're going very, very high. That's like where they sent William Shatner to, I think.
Is that where they send the guy? Remember the guy who skydove from the outer layer?
Wild motherfucker.
For Red Bull or whatever?
Yeah, that's my friend.
Yeah?
That's Andy Stump.
Man.
He's a psychopath.
Was it
Andy that did
No,
no,
was like,
that's a different guy. Andy did something similar.
Hey, man, send me to the moon, baby. I feel you. I'm the same way.
They're still floating.
If
I look down, they're
by
weightless.
the time I'm 50, 60, and they like, it's safe.
But you don't.
They
get
doing
way
trips
up
every
there where you're
weekend.
looking down on
I
the
might have to
ball.
take
I don't
me a
even think
trip,
that's
bud.
fun right there, because are you even? It's like, I feel like the Earth is so bright you can't even see the
Taking
stars.
a loan for
I
Oprah.
won't see it.
No,
Nah,
you
for
don't see
real
the
That's not
though.
worth it. I'm not doing that.
Nah, for
But I
real
think to see
though.
the stars, you gotta go.
I don't know
the
that.
fuck.
they're seeing them in the
Nah, for
spaceship.
real.
You gotta go
Maybe
way the
they
fuck.
do.
Hey,
up
Oprah.
there.
I want to go
Hey,
into like
Oprah,
the
sponsor
abyss.
me on this trip real
You
quick.
probably do when you're on the dark side.
We
don't
we
you take
we about to
Jack?
go.
Yeah, but how
We
many
about to
people
go
have been there
up.
for a long time?
Right, but you go over there for a whiz, right? You're like, it's real fast. You're going like 17,000
About
miles
to
an
go
hour,
up.
right? Isn't that the space station?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to. I could
Hey,
look,
Oprah,
look
send-
into this. I think
send
the
the
only star
bag.
You could probably see is the sun.
Huh.
Because it's gonna have
when
to
you're on
be-
the other side.
Hey, for
the dark
real.
side?
I'm not going right now.
You gotta get $100 million bucks, bro. You gotta go way up.
I wonder how much it costs for them to send me to like a wormhole or a black hole.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Nah. If I'm like,
Imagine it come back and you're in the Mongol days. You're like, motherfucker.
what is the Mongol days?
Like when Genghis Khan ruled the earth and killed
Oh,
10% of the population.
That would suck. It sucked to, I don't know. I'd hope not even to come back though. I'd just go somewhere else. Maybe there's like another planet, another universe.
People want to leave.
Yeah.
You trying to leave?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Remember when Bradley Cooper went through it and then he came back and Earth was like saved, but they're like living in these like cylinder fourth dimension things or something like that? Was it Interstellar? You see Interstellar?
Oh, that wasn't Bradley Cooper. That was Matthew McConaughey, right?
Matthew McConaughey. I always get the names mixed up.
I was confused.
Yeah. Bradley Cooper get his chance too, but yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Bro, even he
technical
got back in the ship and was like, nah, I'm out.
So yeah.
Okay, during spacewalk,
Yo, appreciate y'all for
astronauts can see
tapping
stars
in.
once their eyes adjust to the darkness.
Holy shit, your eyes have to adjust to the darkness of space.
Right, but that's spacewalks in Earth's shadow. I don't think that's the same.
They don't go
Okay.
behind the moon, though. They
Space
haven't been.
station habitable.
So
artificial
you could go
satellite in low
spacewalk
Earth
too.
orbit that serves
You trying to
space
say you could
environment.
go
That
spacewalk?
trip I've told you about a few times that Steve Aoki's supposed to go on. It's supposed to be like one of the first manned trips back around the moon since.
Stevie Aoki, don't die on the moon.
Bro,
I've
Steve
said this
Aoki,
to him before. I'm gonna say it again. Don't do it, buddy.
that guy is fucking badass.
He's badass. He's a cool dude too.
First
know a lot of
civilian
cool
flight,
people.
I guess, to the moon.
He's very cool.
But I don't
On
think that-
crew for first mission to the moon, Steve. You want to be on the 100th mission. But by the way,
Yeah,
I
that's
think they
my
did
joint.
100
Interstellar
of those
was next
submarine
level.
dives before that one exploded.
Oh,
for real,
shit.
for real.
I think they did a bunch of them.
Damn.
Tap
wasn't
in
like they
with
were the
that
first
if you
people.
y'all
They'd probably go, "Hey, you
interested.
got
If
the
y'all
keys
ain't seen
worked out. Let's try this
Interstellar,
bitch out."
I've done it 100 times.
hey,
Looking
hey,
for
I
one.
feel. Hey, shout
car
out
accidents
Justin.
happen every
Hey,
day.
I'm going to Hotel Mars. I'm going to Hotel Mars. You're not gonna tell me. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna tell me I ain't going to the penthouse suite at Hotel Mars. You know what I'm saying? Beam in space for like 20 minutes as long as I can and be brought right back to Earth. Hey, bro, if we could, we would. You feel me? If we could, we would, bruv. If we could all just Thanos snap to space and see what it is and come right back, we would. For sure we would. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? Oh, Bezos. Yeah, Bezos, yeah. Bezos is he got bread. Them folks could do what they want. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They do what they want. So, but it's do you believe them? That's all the question is. It's like everybody got a $1 million story. And what's
The
the
Joe
real?
Rogan
Show us the
Experience.
video.
So you were
I
saying
wanna
that you're
who's
on the
going to
fence
space
off
with
the
no
fence
video
about
camera?
Rush.
The story I was hearing is it's a lot.
That's all. That's my first thing
I'm
I'm
gonna skip
packing.
a lot of it, but what
Phone,
I
video
was
camera,
reading
something that
slash
work.
what they
Maybe
were
the
saying
phone don't work up
is
there,
that
but
one
I'm
possibility
bringing
that could be
film,
going on is there is
whatever
a-
I gotta do to get the
I think
info.
we're taking in some of Graham Hancock stuff too. If people were around on Earth 500,000 years ago, in some way, there was some split and a second set of humans continued on, and we're like in this interdimension space where they're both happening simultaneously, and that's where like if
He was saying this?
no, this is from the I'm gathering this all from like that video. I'm adding in some of Graham Hancock stuff too because this kid also interviewed him, Jesse Michaels, on his podcast,
Okay.
and they're talking about some of the same stuff. But something they said in the Grush interview on his podcast was that an idea would be that these people exist on like a split timeline from us. Like we had cataclysms and died and repopulated and whatnot. Now we've ended in this place in 2023 with combustion engines and we're flying around. These people would have been in a different anti-gravity. Who knows what they figured out.
And they went somewhere else?
Are you
I
going?
think- I
Are
don't
you
know,
going,
they're not
Justin?
even
If they
saying
build
that.
hotels,
This is where like they're not.
Who's
gonna
going-
Talk, I don't-
who's
they haven't
going
talked
if they're
about
building
that, but I think
hotels
what they're saying or getting or
in
getting
space?
at maybe is that they're here. That's why the nuclear thing is so important to them. They're on the same planet as us, and if we blow up the planet, it goes away for them.
So they're
too.
here, we just don't know where they are?
And that's where the interdimension thing comes in. I that's what I'm gathering out of what I've
How
heard.
high were you when you came up with this?
It's not. I don't think I'm saying it's my theory. This is what they're sort of saying.
understand.
And Grush is sort of like that's an interesting thing you're saying. He's not confirming it
facts.
with him or anything.
Cowboy
but
Bebop was there.
it was it's a lot to take in. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah, it's all a lot to take in. David Grush is that UFO whistleblower that testified in front of Congress.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, man. The thing about it is, I believe he's telling the truth as far as what he's
100K a night will
experienced
be
and
crazy.
the documents that he uncovered and the
Yeah.
people that he talked to. But how do you know
Already
whether or not
paid
they're
$1
just
million,
using him as a
100
useful
million
idiot
to get
just
there?
Get out some silly story.
Why not tag
because
on a
they're covering
couple-
up for the fact
couple
that
more
there's some
hundred
very
thou?
advanced drone system that the United States government has. They're trying to keep under wraps.
Right.
It might be
Definitely
both. I think it's probably
Hey,
both
facts.
things.
about
here's the
to
thing.
send me to space.
You're out in the woods all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see a UFO?
No.
Ever see Bigfoot?
No.
Ever talked to a hunter that's seen a UFO?
No.
Ever talked to a hunter that's seen Bigfoot?
I talked to
Really?
the guys down at San Carlos.
Okay, let's
the
see what he
Apache
gotta say.
Reservation,
Yeah.
They said they've seen stuff.
Okay. Were they on peyote?
I don't know.
Because I know a lot of those Indians like to get down.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't. And it's been
Did
like
they just-
multiple times.
What
Where
kind of
did he
stuff?
say they was at?
I talked to
Really?
the guys down at San Carlos, the Apache Reservation.
Yeah.
They said they've seen stuff.
Okay. Were they on peyote?
I don't know.
Because I know a lot of those Indians like to get
I
down.
don't think so. I mean, I don't. And it's been
Did
like
they just-
multiple times.
What kind of
XXX.
stuff?
Appreciate y'all tapping
Like
in. What's up? What's
square-
up? What's up?
Like something square flying.
Oh, interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
he said there was
Because
something
that is
square.
the thing that they describe, right? It's a square with a sphere inside of it, like a black. No, the opposite.
Yeah.
A sphere with a black square
Yeah,
inside
like
of it.
a force
Yeah.
field or
I
something.
was fucked up.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody other than that. That's the first story I've heard from somebody who I have talked to.
Well, that kind of makes sense. Because
Yeah.
that thing they do spot. That's a common one. Some flying square.
Yeah, I
inside a
totally
sphere.
think he
sphere.
was joking.
And that's
I totally think he was joking. And like, bruh, who says that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's far fetched, bro. That's far fetched. Like, I'm not gonna tell my mama. That's just him. That's him trolling. For me, that's a troll thing to do. I wouldn't even tell my mom. Please tell me, you know, because he want to know. Like I said, he in the beginning, Joe wants to know the information. Even when he'll talk to somebody about the same topic, and he'll still won't be like, "Oh, but I know this," because he doesn't know. These are all his guests telling him what they know. So, for the fact of the matter is, like, yeah, I think Joe, if they told Joe, he probably wouldn't necessarily come on here and tell us the next day. But there'd be hints. There'd be hints. You know what I'm saying? Because he wouldn't be able to let it breathe. Because he wants to know. He gets excited when he's like, just show us. Just show us. You know what I'm saying? Justin said, nah. So. Dang, that would be crazy. So he trying to take a busload of people. 500 one trip? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. No, thank you. No, thank you. If you're stuffing 5 people on an aircraft, 500 people on an aircraft, I'm good. 2 space, bro. A 500 seater? Nah. That's a train. You trying to send a train to space? And even if it's multi vehicles going, but like, nah, man, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. If he says so, they getting paid loads of money. That's what I know. He's getting paid loads of money. Hey, that interview was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Neil. I fuck with everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't discriminate. Some people are not my favorite, and I don't tap in with them as much. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely he be letting them know. Yeah, I don't know. Man. That's crazy.
Like legitimate pilots. have
His
seen
Rockies
that.
can't hold that one. Yeah, don't
That's a
believe it.
weird one.
Right.
Because that my theory, and this is totally unfounded without any research whatsoever. It's just
Those are the best kind.
This is my favorite kind of theory. My theory is that they have this ability to make something move in this insane way with gravity, but they can't put a body in it and they can't put weapons in it. They can't. It's just an object that they can get to move at insane rates of
Sounds
speed.
about right.
That's what I think.
If you're bringing
I
500
think
people at a
the
time,
military applications of this thing
Sounds like
have
a,
yet to be figured out. But I think they
little bit
have
of-
something that can do things that we have no knowledge of.
Columbus,
But the United States government is probably
Christopher.
they probably have in their possession something that was either back engineered from something from somewhere else or something that they developed in a completely top secret environment with the top research scientists probably during the wars, during World War II and Vietnam.
That's
and,
impending.
and in Iraq and Afghanistan. You think about the amount of money that gets funneled through the government, and that they don't. I mean, didn't the Pentagon just for the 6th year in a row fail their audit? Imagine if
Probably.
you failed your audit 6 years in a
Yeah,
row.
I
Boy,
know.
they'd crawl up your ass.
Jules,
with a fucking
you
microscope.
see that?
Yeah.
I think is that what it was?
How are they failing their? But if we do it,
But yeah,
we out of here.
Correct. It's
It's the government for you, though. That's why it's like you gotta watch. man. You gotta
So there's a
watch.
lot of money flowing around. Is my point.
Yeah.
And who knows how much of that money is going to these secret programs that we don't know about?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And if they did that, and they did have the top scientists, and if I was the fucking president, and I was the chief of staff, and I was running the Pentagon, I would want the best scientists. So I'd recruit the best scientists, and I'd say, hey, you know, this is national security. We're working on this project. It uses gravity propulsion.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck
hey,
up.
Justin, it
Don't
was
tell
Elon-
anybody, but you get to work
Elon's
on some cool
plan.
shit.
Yeah. And,
And-
you get paid a lot of
Put
money.
up a
You get paid a
little
lot of money,
video.
and you get to be a part of one of the most insane discoveries in human history. So this is what we're working on.
Yeah.
I think that's likely too, but then you got to go back to like the Foo Fighters from the 1940s and the crash at Roswell, and that you also have to be open to the possibility that, like, look, there's a lot of planets out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of planets out there. It's very possible we're not alone.
A lot of planets out there, yo. A lot. You know what I'm saying? Elon wants to send 1 million people to Mars by 2050. By 2050, it's 25 years. 25 years. 25 years he wants to send space. Let's see what Good old Elon has to say. This is a video about. Loading the Mars fleet in 1,000 ships. This dude is crazy. 3 Starship rockets every day. He's trying to launch 3 rockets every day. So he trying to have space stations like airports here. So he trying to have these in every city is what we trying to say. This is crazy. 500 to 2,000. Who wouldn't pay 500? Who wouldn't pay 500? What's that's like it's like business. That's like coach business in first. That's what he doing here. Oh, so there's a newer joint. Something new. Oh, that's 4 years ago. Oh, we want to over orbit. That's crazy. That's crazy work, bro. Yeah, sounds about right. About right, bro. Oh, Elon got the bag. He could really do what he want. Honestly, you know what I'm saying?
Vehicle?
really
He
do
was
what he
probably
want.
like 20 feet by 10 feet, something like that.
I
Not
like bro
super
a lot.
huge.
I like how he talks. Man,
It was a interesting case, and then of course Pope Pius XII and the Vatican were involved, back channeling it through the OSS, which became the CIA later, to FDR, and that's how the U.S. knew something weird happened in Italy right before World War II. But
so this is
Yeah.
33 was the first documented.
that is the earliest one I can talk about. Yeah,
There's something that predates.
and this is what I was talking about earlier about bro saying things, but saying he can't say too much about all the information he knows, because he says he knows it all. He literally says he knows it all. He's seen it all, knows it all. But they have to submit paperwork, and then the government goes through and be like, yes, no, no, yes, 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 no, no, no. Oh, for sure not. I don't even know why you would think of that. Yeah, go ahead. Tell them this, tell them that, tell them this. So it's like, are you really telling us what's good, or are they writing a script and be like, here, this date, this date, this day. Okay, take them and tell them this. We don't know. We don't know.
What's that? You could infer that.
You
You
can
can infer that.
So
What
this
is that?
33 one you said was in Italy?
Yeah, magenta.
I don't
So it's
confirm or
about
deny.
geography. I think that's
don't confirm or deny.
Lombardy region. It's like northern.
That's what that
northwest
is.
Italy.
And what's the story behind it?
So basically, it looked like it crashed, right? The original shape most likely was like a lenticular disc-like craft, with like two dinner plates.
What
right?
does lenticular mean?
So like two dinner plates, smushed together, right? The hump, and there's like a, like a bubble on top.
Like the classic,
like
saucer.
That.
Like that. Okay.
But it looks like when it hit, the edges broke off, so it became this like
My bad, y'all.
the edges broke off, so it became this like bell or acorn shaped thing. And there was nothing in it. It was like just an artifact. There was no biological remnants, if you will. So it's so funny because the Italians were so confused. They actually called up the Germans and they were like, is this one of your Wunderwaffe? Like, what the hell just crashed in northern Italy? Mussolini. And this is all publicly available information because some Italian researchers found all these original documents that some people were sitting on for years in Italy. They put a
shout out Hackboy for the subscribe.
gag order on the press, etc. And Mussolini asked the Germans to come down. And of course, the Germans came down and they were like, that is not ours, but let's look at it together. So that's kind of perhaps a tertiary reason the kind of Axis powers got together. I'm not saying that's like the reason, but I think the Italians and the Germans were so intrigued with what they found from like an artifact perspective. There was at least some scientific and military collaboration during the war, the details of which I'm not sure of, but I know people that know that specific event that are currently still intel officers within this program in detail. But
so was there witnesses to the
Sorry, y'all. We're having a little bit of technicals. Then, but but the fact that people are trying to charge all this money, and then Elon gonna come in with $500 tickets, crazy. You know what I'm saying? I hate that it's starting to trip on it.
And there was nothing in it. It was like just an artifact. There was no biological remnants, if you will. So it's so funny because the Italians were so confused. they actually called up the Germans and they were like, is this one of your Wunderwaffe? Like, what the hell
His
just
accent
crashed
funny.
in northern Italy? Mussolini. And this is all publicly available information because some Italian researchers found all these original documents that some people were sitting on for years in Italy. They put a gag order on the press, etc. And Mussolini asked the Germans to come down. And of course, the Germans came down and they were like, that is not ours, but let's look at it together. So that's kind of perhaps a tertiary reason the kind of Axis powers got together. I'm not saying that's like the reason, but I think the Italians and the Germans were so intrigued with what they found from like an artifact perspective. There was at least some scientific and military collaboration during the war, the details of which I'm not sure of, but I know people that know that specific event that are currently still intel officers within this program in detail. But
so was there witnesses to the crash or some sort of an understanding that something had crash landed and they discovered it?
Yeah, I forget the precise discovery. I don't know if it was like local police officers or local farmers found it in the field, something like that. I don't want to misspeak. I assume some of the Italian researchers might have some fact witnesses that can orally say, "Oh yeah, my great grandfather found it" or something like that. But I don't remember.
And what was the scale of this vehicle?
It was probably like 20 feet by 10 feet, something like that. Not super huge, but kind of big.
Do they think that this was a drone? Do they think that this was occupied?
There was nothing in it. So if it was piloted, if you will, by some sentience, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. So,
So he's saying that the government found the aircraft, crash landed aircraft with no one inside. He's not saying if it had a pilot seat or anything specific, but it's kind of seeming like he's leaning towards AI, like it was unmanned. That's the feeling I'm getting from him, his reactions to that. It's almost because what? It crashed, came apart, and the alien ran and dove in the water and swam back, or took his jetpack out of there. I don't know. Or maybe it broke apart and he had the rover inside. You dig? The getaway vehicle. But like I said, it sounds very AI. Sounds very AI. I don't know.
So what happened to that vehicle?
So we knew where it was being stored at a particular location after the crash, and then
knew a particular location.
The military came in and we grabbed it towards the end of the war. You know, 1944.
You talking about America? You talking
because,
about
like I
U.S.
said,
of
Pope
A?
Pius XII
We grabbed it.
Let FDR know.
Why did the Pope get involved? Because it's
in
Italy?
Well, interestingly enough, there's like a whole history of human intelligence prior to World War II and old money, the Vatican, the Italian mob, kind of the old country boys did a lot of informal intelligence collection for the U.S. And there's probably some books you can read on it, but it's really interesting. You know, human intelligence collection wasn't really formalized until the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, which became the CIA in 1947. You had, Paul Mellon and all these other affluent guys of all these old money families that basically created the CIA. So that's probably the reason why.
So this thing that was recovered, this was the first documented one that the United States had access to?
I can't get into if it was the first or not, but it was an
Why
early
can't
one.
you get
Very
into
early.
that?
So it's almost
That's what I don't understand. Those are
so
small
they
questions
take
that
this
are not
thing and then they bring it
really
yeah, I can't
too
get
informational.
Can't get into that.
No.
Okay, so they bring it somewhere in the United States. And was the attempt to try to back engineer this thing? Was the attempt to try to understand what it was?
Yeah, I mean, first of it, obviously, it's understanding the situation, right? What do we have our hands on? And, And like I've said in some other videos and stuff, we took the Manhattan Project secrecy and overlaid it on this issue because that secrecy worked well for atomic bomb developments and whatnots. And certainly this whole program in a nutshell, if I were to like summarize the 90 plus years of history, it is a reverse engineering program to garner some kind of insight. And of course, not a lot of the things that we've learned from it are like directly, ripped off the technology we found, but it has inspired other innovations that made its way into other U.S. classified programs over the year for national defense reasons,
So he said, because he's been saying, I can't say this and I can't say that. But he just said, we are finding these crafts and using the knowledge to invent things. Literally just said that. You're using the knowledge that we find to invent new things. That is 100% true. So whether these people think these things are gifts or crash landings or freak accidents or other governments that don't want to tell us the secrets, or even our own government or a private firm, or Elon Musk just in his backyard building rockets and flamethrowers. Regardless of what it is, he's saying that they're finding these things and they are making their own things. They're taking the technology and implementing it in their projects. He said it. My man said it.
national defense reasons, and it's a myriad of different things. So
The UFO folklore is that this is where fiber optics were discovered first.
Yeah, I'm not going to break the seal on anything we've discovered.
See, the
or
thing
anything
about
like
that
and
is I'm not going to break the seal on anything we discovered, but we know fiber optics is a real thing. So you're just saying, I can't tell you if it came from this or that or what or what. Look at that smile on his face. Look at that smirk. It's almost wild because it's deceiving. I can't tell you that. Like that. I don't know.
like that, and it's a
How
place I can't go to.
limited are you
Yeah.
in what you can discuss and what you can't discuss, and why? Why do they let you discuss any of this?
Yeah, so anything sensitive
Here
that
he
I want to
goes.
say as it relates to like U.S. government activity, whether it be intelligence stuff, military stuff, etc., I have to submit it through what they call DOPSR, DoD Office of Prepublication and Security Review.
DoD office.
That is something anybody who's been an intel officer, anybody with like a clearance, has to submit that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, if you're writing a book about gardening, you don't have to. But if you're going to talk about anything military and intelligence related, you have
See how
to
they
submit.
try to do this?
So it's kind of a catch-22 for this office, right? They're only looking at it from a security perspective.
But they're
not
they might be trying to
vouching
hold the
for
secret.
it or anything like that. And that's like any author, right? They could write a book about Navy SEALs
fake
and they're not
fruits.
vouching for the story. They're vouching that you didn't say any nasty code words. You didn't burn a specific ongoing classified program. And for them, I mean, I'm not in their OODA loop, but certainly it's a catch-22 for them where if they want to redact and they propose a redaction, they're like, hey, Dave, you can't say these sentences. You can rewrite it and resubmit.
See, look at that. That's
we can't necessarily tell you
exactly what
agency
saying.
said to redact.
So is it really him writing up, hey, I'm about to talk about this and talk about that? Or is it him like, hey, I'm going to Joe Rogan, I want to tell him about aliens. What can I tell him? I want to tell him about UAPs or sightings or military this and that, and what can I say? Is that what you're doing? Or are you really like, hey, I want to talk about the 4K videos that we have and the real parts of the ships that we have, and the photographs of the extraterrestrials that we have and been visited by, and the ones who had the covers. Like, is you writing all that down there? Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, nah. And then giving you a script, or are you resubmitting what you said actually? Like, because that's definitely how the government works. It's like, oh, if you word it this way, and you don't put all the business out there, and Russia's after us, and them over there, they might be trying to take our what do you mean? Every incident that we heard, no matter if it was Brazil, this, that, Biden is an ET. That's hilarious. But either if it was Brazil or all these places, it seems like a pattern that America comes in and takes over. They just come and take over. So why are they scared of secrets getting out if they're bullies? They're bullying everybody. He just said it crash landed, and we went and got it. We went over there and gone and got it. Where is it? I can't tell you where it's at, but we went over there and got it. It's over here in America.
Agency said to redact it, but you're not allowed to say this. They would be basically self-certifying there's a there. So in my opinion, probably the policy is like, if it has to deal with the subject, we're not saying anything. We're not proposing any redactions. As long as he's not burning a conventional program, we kind of have to allow him to exercise his First Amendment rights. And I think it's like
he's literally saying, don't talk about nothing that we're doing. You could tell everything around the circle. You know what I'm saying? You could tell them that the stuff that's out. Tell them the stuff that's out that they're talking about. Don't confirm or deny. Don't confirm or deny.
Right. So I think it's like a catch-22 for that office is kind of the short of the long answer.
So this is essentially one of the very early ones, 1933.
Mm-hmm.
How many crash retrieval incidents have there been?
How many?
It is double digit. The specific numbers I do know. However, I can't discuss that. And I know it sounds like, I'm
double digits is crazy
whatever,
because it could be 99 or it could be 10.
Any other interviews I do, right? Foreign intelligence services are watching, and it's like, I'm not here to help Russia and China calibrate their intelligence collection. Oh, Dave said it's.
Who cares if they're snatching everything? If America's coming every time they see a UFO accident, they're snatching it up. Oh, America got 10 UFOs more than us. Let's go out and find. Like, what do you got? Like, government, what are you talking about? What are you talking? Dave said there was 12, so there's 12. What does that prove, or what does that do? Because we don't have the proof. All you're doing is yapping about it. You dig? All you're doing is yapping about it. And it might be true, it might be false, but it's like, yo, it's in the 30s, in the 40s. You know what I'm saying? It's above 50. You know what I'm saying? Say something. Do not use an excuse that Russia and China can't know how many UAPs we got. We don't want them pocket checking over here. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, David.
Oh, Dave said it's this number. We missed a couple. Shit. Let's put it out for the KGB, SVR, GRU are now going to hit the streets to try to figure out what.
They're already counting what you have. You don't think people telling them? You don't think people telling them? You don't think they got the things you got to let them know when the thing hit the atmosphere or whatever y'all say and do what? Like, you don't think that, bruh? And furthermore, what is a number gonna do? Nobody cares, David. Tell us the number, David.
the streets to try to figure out which ones they miss. So
Right.
I'm here to protect national security,
National
and I'm just
security.
trying to put all the general topics out there for public conversation to hold our government accountable, really. So
He's not a
I'm here as
whistleblower.
a fact witness because we have
He's not a whistleblower.
a constitutional
he
oversight
just said
issue
what he was.
because this program,
He's trying to spark the
not been-
conversation. That's all.
reported to Congress in the appropriate way, and I can get into a senator I talked to that has died recently, so I can, explain to you why I'm so
Wow.
sure. Besides what I read, which we can get into what intel reports I read, I did get some stuff cleared. So during my investigation, I'm like, you know what? I need to talk to somebody at the highest levels, right? So, and this will give you an idea of the kind of people we talk to. And this is the only one I'm going to talk about using their name because they died 2 years ago. So in spring 2021, I actually flew with a couple colleagues of mine to Las Vegas. And I met with Senator Harry Reid about 9 months before he died. And of course, he's a private citizen now. And I wanted to brief him on the topic, and I wanted to get his kind of leadership on it because, he was a Gang of Eight member, right? Which is the top most cleared senators and congressmen. He was the majority leader, for God's sakes, of the Senate. And I knew, he helped sponsor the OSAP program that I mentioned and where they looked at Skinwalker Ranch and some other things. And I wanted to understand, what does Harry Reid actually know? Why did he, give $21 million to DIA and Bigelow Aerospace for this? So I'm sitting there in Harry Reid's living room, right next to him with some other witnesses that were there with me. And he straight up says, he's like, yeah, I knew we had UFO material. I was denied access for decades. I tried to get access, and then he explained some of his efforts during OSAP, and I was like, holy shit, did the former
efforts,
majority
bro?
leader just say, did he just confirm this to me as well? I was already talking to these amazing high-level people, but I have
he
Harry
confirmed it.
Reid literally saying, yes, we have material, and, he knew it was non-human.
Did Harry Reid have personal experience with this?
I don't know if he's had any personal stuff in his personal life.
I mean, did he see it? Did he?
He said,
witness?
in terms of seeing the material himself, he said he was denied access for years, decades was his term. And he actually told me on behalf of me, he had a weekly call with President Joe Biden at the time. And he straight up said to me he was going to talk to President Biden about this issue, literally. And then what he was telling me about OSAP, I was like, holy shit, I have 20 other people that told me this, dude. So the real history, what fucking OSAP was, because I think there's a lot of people
So did he die
out
because
there that
he
think
was
they were
going to
looking at
expose
ghosts,
everything?
Skinwalker Ranch. Yes. They went to the ranch as a secondary and tertiary objective.
I need to hit this ranch.
Real
Everybody's
reason.
been talking
So
about the ranch.
there's a document that came out a couple years ago through FOIA from the Defense Intelligence Agency. There was this special access program request that Harry Reid, you might have seen this, I think George Knapp and company have reported on this, that he sent to the Deputy Secretary of Defense, William Lynn. And it was asking for one of the most serious SAPs you can ask for, what they call a bigoted, waived special access program. So waived means it's limited congressional reporting. That is a class of special access programs. And bigoted means it's by name. And it was you could read the FOIA document. It was Harry Reid, James Inhofe, Lou Elizondo, etc. And I'm like, why are you asking for the most serious SAP to be created for a program that ostensibly is looking at Skinwalker Ranch and stuff? And it doesn't make any sense. So what really happened there, and
Because they got the UAPs over
Harry
there at the ranch.
Harry
P.
Reid, God bless his soul, made this disclosure a couple weeks after we met in the New Yorker, and you can look this up. I think it was a May 2021 New Yorker story where he says, I knew for decades, and he made this disclosure,
Man.
not me. So I'm
Oh,
going to say the
God.
name of the contractor. Harry
I
Reid said
know.
this.
But one day,
We knew that
I'ma
Lockheed
be there,
Martin
brother.
had this material for decades. I tried to get
Already.
access, and I was denied.
They don't mess
And
with us.
specifically with the
But one
Lockheed
day.
Martin stuff. He was talking about
Thank you for
during
the follow.
OSAP
Thank you for the
program.
sub. Appreciate it.
And for the people who are on this
Yo.
program, I submitted this shit to Dopser, got this cleared, so don't freak out. But I'm telling the truth here.
I
So
sneak
Lockheed
in the
Martin wanted to
Skinwalker Ranch.
divest itself
They gonna do
from
put
this
me in
material
jail
at a specific facility that's known to me
I
that I
sneak
provided
in.
to the Inspector General, like street address, all
man.
that shit, right? And the idea was if they made a catcher's mitt, a security catcher's mitt for this shit,
Oh yeah,
at
the
most
jersey.
serious sat possible, the contractor and the other government.
It's going up on the East Coast right now. It's going up on the East Coast right now. Shout out to RPG. You know what I'm saying? Because you're right. Jersey is going up. They having sightings. We don't know what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Some UAPs is up there. Some is out there. Drones is whatever. They us, they not. They coming up out the water. I don't know. But it's crazy how you say that because it seems like they're building new bases and stuff in different places. Like there's sightings over here this time in these years, and then there's sightings over here, and you know, I don't know, it's getting funky. But I did hear about that New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty wild.
Government customer, which was the Central Intelligence Agency, for that specific Lockheed material, and it was shit that they recovered from like the 50s and stuff, and it was like bits and pieces of like hull structure, shit like that, and so they were going to tech transfer it, and the $21 or $22 million was actually for Bigelow Aerospace to build out, you know, facilities in Las Vegas and material analysis equipment. And I saw the staff meeting slides, I saw the paperwork. Like there's a paperwork trail I've seen on this shit, and I talked to the people involved in this program.
Talk to people in the program. Talk to them, people. You need to talk to the people in the program. Shout out there. Let us know what we could get. Take what we. I do understand.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
What do you think about all this UAP, UFO stuff?
Oh, shit. You know, I don't know. It's something. It's something. I don't know
It's
what
something.
it is. Some of it is
I'm
like,
fucking ready.
some people theorize it's like plasma technologies, but they're getting physical signatures on it. They're, you know, you're getting like all the radar return signatures, and you're getting like infrared, you know. I don't fucking know, man. I mean, it's really blows me away. Because I can't say for sure. Like, I believe that other life forms exist. I also believe, I just don't know if it's like, it doesn't make any sense why they're like, let's just hang out, never show ourselves, and just do like really cool, tricky stuff and have people a bunch of blurry images of it that we can never fucking see.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. But I don't know what it is, man. I mean, it's either natural phenomenon, or it's something that's been here a long time, or they're probes that are triggered by a certain, I don't know, technological escalation in human society.
That's all you can say. Or
they're somehow ours, but that doesn't make any sense either. I don't know, man. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen UFOs, but I might have mentioned it on the show before, but I've seen like the classic like 3 glowing spheres in the distance, kind of moving along, and like a searchlight turning on or a spotlight turning on, and turning off, and then like gliding with no noise in a canyon. I've seen that, and that was awe-inspiring. But you know, some of the footage that you see, you're like, what is that? It just went into the ocean. It just went into the ocean it's still traveling at the same rate that it was traveling in the air. And they're recording it. So it's either like a huge hoax, which doesn't make any sense because people talk, or I don't know, man. Or it's like interdimensional shit. It's maybe if we are in a simulation, there's like glitches in the simulation, you know, like there's like other things bleeding through, and like we're seeing things that don't have any that don't adhere to the laws of physics because they aren't really in our physical realm in a way. I don't really know, because I just it really baffles me. And then also when the government starts releasing stuff, and then you got a guy going around like, well, you know, I've been cleared by the, you know, whatever, CIA or whatever, to be able to talk about this and all this stuff. Like, you've been cleared to talk about stuff that you're supposed to not be talking about is that's weird. And then I'm like, is it propaganda? Is it like, I don't know.
That's exactly how I feel with David. I got these people straight from the government talking about what they can and cannot talk about. But then David answers he got the smoothest answer, that he not a whistleblower. He just want to put the conversation out there. You're not trying to tell too much. You don't want China and Russia to come over here and, you know what I'm saying, start knocking heads and taking names and stealing our information, because, you know, if China knows we got 45 UAPs and 17 UFOs, then we're in trouble. I'm going to get a call. Whatever, bro. So that's what I agree with. You know what I'm saying, right? He's not no, you know what I'm saying, military clearance, or, you know, he probably just does his normal little research himself. But I feel this is why the average person is like, it's BS. This is why, because we get these folks who are from the CIA, which we're not supposed to know there's a CIA, or, you know what I'm saying, for so long it's like, I can't tell you what I do. My wife don't even know what I do. But now all of a sudden there's CIA people, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they're all out here, and we he used to work for the CIA. Oh yeah, that's a CIA agent over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of a sudden, but they only could tell you what they can. This is redacted. You know what I'm saying? You can't know this information, man. This is for the bosses up here. You know what I mean? So, like I said, they're going to have to land a UFO at the Staples Center. I'm sorry, Crypto Center. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Or pull up with an alien at a Lil Wayne show. What can they do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are they gonna start having aliens come to the football games? Like, they not, you know, most people. There's a story about a lady who said she hung out with him. Said there was one that was very outgoing, and he was chittery and chattery, and he would talk like humans, but everybody else talked telepathically. You know what I mean? And he even talked telepathically with the others, but she even felt a little telepathic conversation going on, but he would also vocalize himself because he enjoyed it. So we got all these crazy stories about it, and it's like, yo, not like that, but straight like that. If they were here, be like, I don't know. Not to say they would have brought more people, like my man, my man trying to take to Mars 1 million people. You know what I'm saying? Mr. SpaceX himself. You know what I'm saying? On. But, you know what I'm saying? I would just figure out, like, yo, they got the good and the good over here. So pull up. Like, we in the mirror, we on the world. We on planet rock. You know what I mean? Third rock from the sun, baby. We lit. Weather cool, breezy, West Coast. Like they sneak in and out. So to say what is what?
I don't know, man. It's a tough one,
because
I grew up like, I love UFOs. Like, I grew up Project Blue Book, watched the series, loved aliens. Used to sit in my backyard looking up at the stars, hoping that I would see an alien one day. And then I did see, not aliens, but I saw UAPs or UFOs.
Where were you when you saw that?
I was in Montana. I was like probably 17.
Yeah.
And we were camping and at night, and then we decided to climb a butte in the middle of the night. So we were crossing a big cattle field, and then I was walking, and two friends were ahead of me, and I kind of just looked to my right.
One thing about it,
looked to my right, and I just saw these in the distance. I don't know how far it would be, but like, you know, they looked like about that big from my perspective. So down a ways, and there were three of them. It wasn't one object because they would change distance from each other and change elevation a little bit, really low. And then
one thing about it is, I don't want to say everybody's story is real, but the thing about when people see they have their experience, it's like it never leaves. It's one of those memories that never leave. He's talking about when he was a kid. And he's about to describe it. He about to describe it when he was a kid, man. That's crazy.
And then at some points, sometimes it would just stop, and you'd see a little beam turn on, turn off, and then it would start to move again. It was really, really weird. I had two friends. I kept looking at them. I was like, come here, because I didn't want to not look and then look back and then they weren't there type of movie shit. But my friends came back and they looked down and they described, I didn't even tell them what I was looking at. I said, tell me what you see. They described what I was seeing. I don't know what it was.
Wow.
But I've heard other stories about three lights.
In the distance?
Same kind of
shit.
The
beam came down.
When I'm watching like UFO.
The beam usually grab things.
Documentaries,
I'm just saying, it's the claw.
I've seen that. Whatever that is, I've seen that. So I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like my mind goes all over the place, but there's no definitive. No, because no one's, it's like unless they land and you're like, oh,
right,
there
That's
it is.
what I'm saying.
See, not the
What
Mexico
you gonna
City
do? Like land at the Super Bowl?
Obviously,
Kendrick
a
Lamar?
joke. Not a joke, but whatever it was, a hoax.
Yeah.
Like unless we get something where it's like, oh shit, what is that? What is this metal? Or the scientists saying that they found a piece of an alien ship at the bottom of the ocean because this material they can't identify. I don't know. It's weird. I'm excited about it. I think it's kind of interesting. And I'm hopeful, but it's almost like the more information that gets released, the more I'm like, I don't know what to think.
I'm exactly where you are.
Yeah.
But I think more than likely that a lot of what we're seeing, a lot of these people are seeing, is some sort of top secret probe with some sort of super sophisticated propulsion system that doesn't rely on a combustion engine. Some completely new style of propulsion system that they've been working on. They've been working on gravity propulsion systems since the 1950s.
True.
They've been at least theorizing these things. And the possibility that someone has come up with something in a drone form that they can pilot like that makes the most sense to me, because they keep spotting these things in areas where the military practices. They keep spotting these things off the coast of San.
See, he's even saying these resemble AI vibes. These resemble non-piloted crafts. And they're around military bases and they're not shooting them down. We have they say sometimes they be shooting at them, but mostly they don't. Or they try it and it slides and it's too quick to even catch. And all these other things. So it's like, if they were ours, it would make sense that no one's shooting them down or nobody's doing this. And people are like, about that Alaska, the army people, the army base in Alaska that's talking about they was flying. Sure, they ain't doing the drop offs. They drop off food and what do you say? Sorry, drawing a blank, but food and supplies. Food and supplies to the neighboring bases, and they were told, "Oh, go around this airspace. Don't fly over this airspace. Don't go directly to your destination. Go left, go right, go left, and then double back around." And they chose not to. They chose not to. They flew over. Boom. They saw a big hole in the ground. A hole that maybe it's water under there because it's Alaska, but this is a sinkhole bigger than any sinkhole anybody has ever seen. It is Alaska. It is unmanned. So, yeah, maybe something happened. Maybe, it could be a freak, but it was a black hole. And then when they came back, they told them, "Hey, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." And then when they got back and they had a talking to. They gave them a talking to. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. We don't know, man. But if it's AI, we don't know where it's coming from.
They keep spotting these things off the coast of San Diego, off the East Coast, where they have these restricted areas. That's where they're seeing these things. Like, it just makes sense that would be where they would practice these things.
But what's weird about it is that, like there was that famous UFO crossing incident over the northern, all the states of going from, I think, Seattle or Washington all the way to Idaho, Montana, North Dakota. They were chasing the squadron of unidentified flying objects in the 50s.
The 50s.
50s.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that, because you do hear about sightings, like even in the 1800s, the 1700s. That's the weird thing.
Right.
That's the thing where I'm like, well,
they had that technology. They said,
but I mean, in the 50s, there's like shots of it. There's people took photographs of these like squadron of glowing discs, and they were going so fast that jets couldn't keep up with them, so they scramble jets at the next base, and they our baseball team are called the Voyagers, based off of that incident.
Really?
Yeah. So in Great Falls, but like, I don't know. That's the weird thing about it. I agree with you. I think there is some kind of like propulsion system, and that is able to like change on a dime, and like
when you say propulsion system, it's almost man-made.
So there's probably multiple things going on simultaneously.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do not doubt that we've been visited. If there is intelligent life that's capable of coming here from somewhere else, of course they would.
Well,
that's the place you would go.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it seems like, in a way, I just feel like the Earth is kind of like a terrarium. It's like they're just like that. Let's do a pilot program here, throw some seeds down there, monitor it, see how it goes.
Like I said, we might be in the middle.
Some people think the moon is a spaceship.
Well, those people might be dumb.
Well, but there's some. Well, are you familiar with the WWII files? You know those guys, that guy.
WWII files.
The WWII files. So it's a YouTube channel. This dude, he basically just recounts stories of paranormal, whether it's occult stuff, spiritual stuff, but not spiritual stuff, but it's like ghost stuff, or aliens, or interdimensional travel, that type of stuff. And then he tells the story and kind of reenacts it, and then at the end he kind of debunks it, or tries to debunk it, but he seems to be pretty impartial. But he was talking about how, like, when they landed on the moon, they basically did seismic tests, and there was a reverberance that would indicate that it's possibly hollow. And it does sound like a far-fetched thing, but there's some kind of interesting things there. Again, I'm not like a firm believer in it, but if you think of it in a fantastical way, like, what if that was a spaceship that just like they just stopped that spaceship, did some experiments on Earth or whatever, and just left the spaceship there? I don't know. Exactly. I'm dumb. Hi guys, how are you?
That one seems so stupid.
I know, but it's fun to look into.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
That spaceship that he worked on was made with. He thinks it was somehow 3D printed because it has no seams. You paying attention to this UFO shit? No? Good for you.
No, but I know you do, so I'm gonna ask, because it's like the shit just, it's so much shit that's just coming out now. I don't understand what's the motive behind it just randomly coming out now.
Yeah, I'm super suspicious.
So what's the place? Area
51?
Area 51.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming that shit has been real.
That's real. Yeah. But Area 51 was used for all sorts of training purposes.
They had all sorts of programs that were running out there. I think that's where they developed the B-52. Is that where they developed it, in Area 51?
I feel like they was giving people
developed
acid
a bunch
over there.
of different.
Man, appreciate the follow. Appreciate the follow.
So that was true about the.
We don't know. We don't know. It's all just guessing about whether or not they're working on UFOs, but they were definitely working on other stuff too. It's a legitimate
all weird.
Military base.
So you think these videos real?
AJ and the White Files
that's coming
is
out,
dope.
or you
Yeah,
think it's?
I think the videos are real. What they're filming, I don't know what that is.
Do you
It could
believe that
be
the moon
that it's some
landing
super
was real?
sophisticated U.S. control.
Do you think we really went to the moon though, Tim? Do you think that is real live footage? And that's something that really happened already? I don't know. Me personally, I don't know. But would be amazing.
U.S. controlled drone that was built in some sort of program that's top secret, and it has some new super sophisticated propulsion system that they don't want us to know about, and so they pretend it's coming from another world. And they say, oh, these are off-world crafts exhibiting behavior that's impossible to replicate in America. I wonder. Because if they're talking about it like that, they're literally saying off-world, like, boy, I get suspicious. I get suspicious because they're not super honest about anything.
No,
Why would they be honest about spaceships?
Then it just randomly happens.
Do you think it's a barrier?
You know?
Yeah, it's another nice distraction. It gets people all excited. Yeah, the fucking
once
fake
you
little
hit that-
Mexican UFO baby.
They're
That's the
doubling
limit.
down.
No, they're not.
Took it. This is from the MRI yesterday. They said it's one skeleton.
They're saying this is an alien.
What did they find that at?
Like they're trying. Other like American scientists are saying, well, then
Think you could hold an alien like this, bruv?
But
Well, did they have
crazy.
images from the MRI?
I mean, I don't know that they showed those actual images, but the doctor that took it, he said right here, they belong to a single skeleton that has not been joined to other pieces.
Interesting. Footage from the team carrying out the test shows one of the bodies bearing an elongated head, a small upturned nose, and two slanted eyes. The subjects look tiny when held up by the doctors examining the watching journalists. Huh.
Then this also is like this person says that I think it's the doctor has claimed that he talks to the Virgin of Guadalupe, and the extraterrestrials will not talk to her like they talk to him because she doesn't believe in them.
Maybe he does drugs. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe
What's
he did
the
talk to
deal,
the Virgin
man?
of Guadalupe. So that's what it's supposed to be. I want to see what those images look like. They don't have them.
Yes,
You ever notice how
indeed.
none of
Yes,
the images be
indeed.
clear?
You already, brother.
Yeah.
On
You
shit
see it.
like
real
that we
problem.
really
Shout
want
out
to
to
see.
my guy
Yeah, it's
Monk,
real
man.
I talked to this one guy,
The most
Christopher,
interesting man in the
he used to be an
world. You know what I'm
intelligence
saying?
agent, and he said that they
Shout
do
out
have
to my
clear
guy,
footage.
Monk.
It just hasn't been leaked, but that he's aware of it, and some of it is pretty mind-blowing, he said.
Damn.
Show me. Until I see it. I
Show
don't
me.
know, man.
Show me the
I feel like a
information.
dummy. Because I want to believe in it so bad. That's the problem. Because it's so fun. You know? The idea of spaceships coming here from another galaxy. That's amazing.
I don't know how fun, especially if they ain't friendly.
Well, if they weren't friendly, we'd already be fucked. Right? I mean, if they've been coming here forever, supposedly, and they haven't hurt us yet,
Oh,
we're
me,
probably
man.
okay.
And I agree with
You know?
Joe.
I think they're probably observing us.
I agree with that statement that Joe was just saying. Like, if we have had all these sightings for decades or years now, coming into hundreds of years, maybe they're friendly. Maybe they don't want to and take over. You know what I'm saying? I mean that's juice. That's also what people have been saying. That's also what they're saying. And you know, if you're right, and it is a bubble, people are saying that they're coming from the ocean. So what if they never left and they just coming from the deep bottom of the ocean where no one can go because they say we can't go that deep? Yeah, nah, say that, bro. Fire. Shout out to you, man. Go crazy, bro. Whole team going crazy. Shout out to Mystery Monk. And go give my man a follow. Got the whole team doing great work. You know what I mean? The whole gangland. Exactly. So, and a lot of these things look like unmanned crafts. They're doing things that would make a regular person woozy, is all I'm saying. So, if it's an unmanned craft and it's all these, and, I could understand maybe a past life of, AIs that they didn't get the wires where, right. You know what I'm saying? Or they had to go build something to go deep underwater and go live. And now they maybe can't come back. So they got to send these little unmanned crafts out and do their research and see if it's okay or what's going on. Maybe they're just getting information for their books. Maybe they just writing books on us. And they just coming down and snatching up the information. Oh, for sure. I totally agree with you, Juice, because all the old maps show way more land, and we did have the Great Flood, which they say took over a lot, but Alaska, we ain't never been to Alaska, like not Alaska, Antarctica. No, am I talking about, yeah, Alaska, and there's a lot of dead zones out there. Like there's a lot of places that no one can go or allowed to go, and no man has even dared to because of the terrain. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. There's places in our own hometowns we probably ain't never seen. So of course, the government is planning a fake alien invasion this year. And one thing for sure, two things for certain, they gonna play some hoax on us. Morning, Lord. Morning, Lord. Yeah, that's what they say, man. That's what they say. We are creating, in our lifetime, we are creating AI, and we see the implement of AI in humans, and maybe they're surpassed us, and there's all these stories about, you know, I mean, who's to say when the first man was on Earth doing what they was doing, and we got Graham Hancock, who has taken on the job of explaining how the hunter gatherer period was more to it. They were doing bigger and better things. They might have not been building skyscrapers, but they was building some things. We found underground living, and Atlantis, they say, was covered by the Great Flood, and there's things that we'll never be able to see again. So it's a possibility. Along with that, lost, there could have been people lost, and and culture and all that, and people could be trapped. There could be people that are locked in. Maybe they locked themselves in during hibernation, never got out, and they evolved. Maybe they evolved. I don't know. We don't know what's really going. But to say that someone is coming from a different planet to ours, but we ain't going to no one's planet, they got to be more advanced in us, or if they time travel.
They're probably, if they are coming from another world, they're probably making sure we don't blow ourselves up. They're probably realizing
that they're taking care of us.
That we're at
That's what he's saying.
Convergence,
making
of
sure we're good
evolution
because
of
we're the young
biology,
pups.
and then science.
We might
and
be the
technology
young
and its
pups in
abilities
the
that far
galaxy.
surpass,
You know what I'm saying?
Like the speed that the biology evolves. Like the biology evolves very slowly, relatively, compared to these computers. The things that they're able to do, these spaceships and the flying cars, and it's like we have so much ability now.
Never know, Juice.
And we're still the same kind of creature.
They use everything to manipulate
but
us.
now we have this insane ability to blow up a whole country. Like we have nuclear bombs. We're all pointing them at each other, and there's enough to wipe out the whole world.
Them, man.
Like if I was an alien, I'd be like, let's keep an eye on these crazy fucks. You know, these people are wild. Let's keep an eye on them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was an alien.
Definitely. I'm gonna keep my distance from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to fly them all. I don't want to do none of that shit. I just, man, live my life.
Yeah. It's gonna be a long time before people get
The JOEROGAN. The JOEROGAN experience.
Well, the scariest are aliens.
Because it's fear of the
Alien
unknown.
1 movie.
Oh my god.
Alien 1 was like, that to me is the scariest scary movie ever.
That
movie was terrifying.
Is it Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind that takes place in Alaska, where they combine the actual footage of the woman's real therapy sessions and stuff?
I don't know. I don't
Jamie,
think
you know
I
what
saw
I'm talking
that one.
about?
Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind?
It's third or fourth kind. Which one's the original movie?
Third kind.
So this one's fourth kind. I'm almost certain. Probably wrong.
I never heard of it.
It's a really good movie. There's a woman up in I want to say Juneau, or no. What's the Nome, Alaska? And back in the day, she was she became famous because she claimed aliens were basically like showing up and abducting her and stuff, right? That eventually her kid got abducted by aliens, or so that's the case, and they accused her of like killing the kid or whatever it may be. Like, obviously, nobody believes that this woman's son was abducted, or daughter was abducted by aliens.
So it's currently available in our country?
Yeah, I think it's like in Canada. I think it's showing up weird.
You can only get it in Canada?
I don't know.
Go down to the what?
That's strange.
Interesting.
But they have it's a movie about this case, but they splice in real footage of her therapy sessions she had to go to, that she was going to while she was being abducted each night. And they do this I don't really know how to describe it. This deep meditative state that makes you recall your dreams, and she's like describing all the things that were happening to her, these aliens, and she starts screaming, she starts like levitating up from the couch a little bit, like it's creepy as shit. But it's a really good movie. It's my favorite abduction movie I've ever seen. And obviously nobody believes her. She runs into the one person. Oh yeah, like that old footage is like the real footage.
Wow. So here's my issue with the alien abduction thing. Other than there's not like any real solid evidence that you could point to that's very convincing. It always happens at night. And it always happens during the periods where people sleep. And when you're sleeping, I'm not saying always. Okay, I'm sure there's some stories out there. I'm sorry. But most of the stories I've ever heard are people in their bed, they can't move, aliens abduct them,
Paralysis.
or they're in a car, the car stops, they wake up, aliens abducted them. When you go to sleep and you dream, there are psychedelic chemicals that your brain makes, and we don't know how much they're making. We don't know what effect that's having on your dreams. We don't know what is going on. What is going on with dreams? What is going on with vivid dreams? What is going on with dreams that they're indiscernible from real life, and sometimes in a strange way. Like, what is that? Is that a psychedelic state your brain goes into every night?
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Juice. Thank you, Juice. But what he's trying to say is that thank you, Armando. Appreciate it. Much love to the chat. Much love to the chat. But what Joe was trying to say is that they're he's relating getting abducted to being in a sleep state where the natural drugs in your body create this, vivid dream state almost. But he's saying maybe it's it's like that's when you're vulnerable, so they know that they could mind control you almost, but it's very close to dreaming. He's relating it very close to like this dream state of mind. People do fall asleep while they're driving, but I've never in my research have heard of anybody getting abducted while they're driving. We just find a car on the road, but we don't know. I live in a big city. Aliens probably don't come to LA. It's too crowded. But, I am, that is very, it's very interesting how he worded that, because it almost, it's so true, because they say, the brain creates DMT. That's a natural thing. So if you, take more of it, and, it could enhance things. So if people are, on a certain diet or eating certain things, it could make these dreams very vivid. When you're falling in your dream, you feel it. You jump up out your sleep and you feel it. Even, if you're clear-minded enough to remember your dreams, you could remember your dreams vivid. You feel your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Shout out to Monk. Other thing is, dreams is literally half of reality. Bro, behind your eyelids. All just, oh, shout out to Monk. Man, shout out to Monk, bro. Nah, for real. And that sleep paralysis is real. My cousin was going through sleep paralysis, and he would tell me, like, bro would take walks in his sleep. Like, he would be flying and going places and remembering it, and like when he woke up, it was almost like he felt his body coming back into himself. So I that's firsthand story from right from the, what I'm saying, the source. So I agree with that. And Monk, that's knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Good knowledge. That's what we here for. But yeah. Who's to say? Who's to say you fell asleep and these dreams are vivid, and if you're remembering these things, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, 100%. Bro, shout out to you, Juice. I appreciate you sharing that with us, man. Everybody shout out Juice, you know what I'm saying? Much love to Juice for sharing that experience with us, because that's big, brother. You know what I'm saying? We all go through, what we go through, and most of it is alone, which is wild. Most of the things when we go through stuff like that, we are alone. So our body gets in this hibernation mode. And when you get all that and you're worked up, and you might do something, but imagine you fall asleep for a whole day and your mind is just going, or it's you never know, man. And the power of mushrooms, it's a thing, man. And all these chemicals that we got in this world, it's driving people crazy. you can never be too sure what's gonna happen next. You know what I'm saying? So all we could do is, you know what I'm saying, like stay up and, you know what I'm saying, check on our people, man. We gotta be, you know, we lose that tribe sense so quick, man. We gotta, you know, we gotta make sure people are good. And that is that is wild, you know what I'm saying? How that sleep is it's like abduction sleep, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting abducted while I'm asleep. Nobody's just walking to the store and getting abducted. Yes, I meditate every day, brother. Yes. Last year, actually, a quick side note, last year, shout out to my big brother. He took me to this retreat. It was up north, a little bit past San Francisco, not too far out of San Francisco, but you know, right before Humboldt, all in those woods and stuff. And he took me to a meditation retreat, which was 10 days, no phone, vegan food. You couldn't talk to anybody that was there either. You lived with people. It was split up, men and women in groups, and you lived with people, but you can't talk to them. You can't you can ask the mentors. No, you can ask the staff for things, and you know, you could talk to them and wave to the homie and you know whatever. But I was there with my brother, and it was a 10-day, and you couldn't talk. You literally couldn't talk. They take your phone at the first day, and then you know the food is vegan. So if you're vegan, you win. But I'm not vegan, which it was not horrible food, but it was tough. It was tough for me, and it was like 2-hour meditation at a time, and it was very hard for me. But one thing I did get was the beauty of meditation, and I was taught how you could plant seeds in your mind. You could plant seeds in your mind, and eventually they will come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is a strong thing. Believe and thou shalt receive. That is real. It is not think of $1 million and $1 million falls in your lap. But you know what I'm saying? It is a powerful thing, man. Try that meditation. Take a little bit of time. If you only got 10 minutes, man. Because my first try at it, I was 2-3 minutes at a time where I could block it out. But with this meditation retreat I went on, that was my beginner. That was me getting an intro. It was a lot for me. I left after 5-6 days. I left on day 6, actually, to be exact. It was a 10-day retreat. I left on day 6. I had to. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I was through it. It was a tough experience, but what I got from it, that was the whole key of it. But I wasn't ready for that intense 10-day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. And it just ended too, because my brother called me on his way this year. I went last year. My brother called me on the way, and it's from December 18th to December 28th. It was right before New Year's, but you missed that whole Christmas. And I've been really in my not necessarily my Grinch vibe, but I've been last 3 years I have been leaning away from Christmas celebrations. So that was one of my my real big, like, all right, this is how I'm gonna lead my life. This is the path I'm going on. This is what I need in my life. I don't need to be buying gifts and doing that. You know what I'm saying? I need to be focused on me. I'm back to aliens. My bad. What's up, Monk? Yeah, we're just the creatures in the forest happening to observe it. Oh my God. That's from. I'm gonna read that, bro. I'm definitely gonna read that. Shout out to Monk. Roadside Picnic sounds like an amazing read. Oh, I love things like that. Shout out to you. But yeah, man. Big shout out to Juice. We love the community, brother. We love the community, brother. So if you want some love, bro, you can always come up in here and mess with the good folks, bro. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's funny. That's funny, Monk.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I low-key agree because they say they come and they spectate and they slide.
Varies. Testosterone varies. Estrogen varies. It varies.
And maybe they be testing out their whips.
You just assume those psychedelic chemicals would vary.
You know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't you just assume that sometimes
we have different gravity than everybody else, so maybe they testing them on each planet to see get their kinks right. And when they hit the atmosphere, they wasn't really
perhaps
ready back in the day.
Those chemicals.
But lately, we don't see too many crashes.
Coming out in abundance, too. Now, if you're lying in bed
where it's like
and you are having an insanely vivid and terrifying interaction with aliens every night, because your brain is just dumping psychedelics into you. And this is your
That's what I said about the mushrooms, bro.
Again. And then there they are, leaning over your bed and they're reaching for you.
Constant paranoia.
And then here's the mindfuck of all mindfucks. Maybe psychedelics are a gateway to some other reality, some other dimension that's accessible by these creatures.
I like this.
And that when you are getting abducted, you really are getting abducted. Like whatever your being is or your spirit or whatever is you is getting, you're interacting with these things. And it feels real because it is real. And because we're thinking about the ability to come in contact with other life forms as being a physical thing.
Some stuff right now.
It might be that there's a chemical gateway in your mind that when breached, you enter into a dimension where physical bodies don't exist anymore and everything moves in this constant soup of geometric patterns.
Okay.
And that whatever your consciousness is, whatever your soul is decoupled from the body and thrown into this realm.
I imagine.
That's very interesting. I have to say that. That's very interesting. Shorty in New York, though, when she said she got abducted, her apartment building, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure she said, or whatever interview I was watching said that people saw her. You know what I'm saying? People saw her getting, you know what I'm saying, levitated out of there. People saying that they saw Shorty getting levitated out the window. Yada. So if that is real, we could see spirits. We'll be able to see spirits. But she's saying that her physical body was taken. You know what I'm saying? And the sleep paralysis makes a lot of sense with what he's saying. Is that you get abducted, but it's your saying soul is tough for me. To say they're abducting your soul is very tough for me. Spirit, they're taking your spirit and returning it. That's harsh. That's a harsh way to think of it. Joe's pretty much saying that your mind can connect with a different dimension when it's sleep, and you're just going there as you, but in not physical form of yourself, but a spiritual form of yourself, which means that they separate. But that makes sense with what sleep paralysis is. It's like you're there, but your body's at the crib in the bed, not. But you're there. And you feel there. You feel it.
That's probably what happens at death.
It probably is.
That consciousness, yes sir, Splash. Yes sir, Splash. That consciousness.
Think about it that way. That you're going to transcend into heaven. You're going to go into this new place. Mm-hmm. It might be true. It might be like a lot of the old depictions of like what happens when you enter into a psychedelic state. I've heard this multiple times, that it's like a well of souls, that you're interacting with souls that are like completely unattached to a physical presence.
Yeah.
And maybe you're getting layers and layers of that depending upon how fucked up you are while you're sleeping. And maybe some of those layers are, boom, aliens are in the room with you.
Peeled back.
Security clearance chapter.
Nah, but for real, like, because they're at the low end. We're middle, and then there's some up here. So they gotta be terrified. But that's what I'm saying, like if these things were happening, it's gotta be like evacuations, or like, you know, it's like when the predator comes and you don't know, but every animal's running away, or you know, the animal that could kill you is running away. Like, they feel that. So it's like there's gotta be something if this is happening. Unless they're friendly. Unless, like Joe said, they're friendly and they don't mean no harm. And they know how to spread that love to the animals, so the animals are not tripping out. Yeah, Juice, that is totally, you know what I'm saying? That's what Joe was saying, that people are relaying taking mushrooms to you know, I recently heard a story about somebody taking a half ounce of mushroom for their first time, and they were just hallucinating for a month straight. So imagine, you know, if you just overdo it, and you know, it's possible. It's possible. It could be, but they're about to legalize mushrooms, bro. I think Canada's coming first, and we're right behind them. They're using it for therapy reasons, but they might be legalizing it. I'm sorry, Juice Man, that you had that experience. I loved it. I had a great experience. I had one bad experience, but I was out at a show, and it was my first time doing it. I had a bad experience, but yeah, dude, a month, man, a month. It was freaky. I'm sorry, Juice Man. I am sorry about that. But I took it even. I was litty. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I love shrooms. I think it's amazing. I don't think if it's not for you, it's not for you. Just like a lot of things aren't for me. I'm not big on other consumables. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in pills or anything of the form, no powders, no nothing like that. I am a natural flower guy. You know what I'm saying? Good spliffer, do me righteous. And but I do enjoy a good mushroom vibe, man. 11 hours off of 8th. That sounds like fun, bro. I was like, but I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Juice, man. You got that experience, because for me, they're amazing. It opened the third eye for me. You know what I'm saying? I saw the plants breathing. I was at the studio with the homies, and they was rapping. The words were breathing to me. I felt at one with nature, all that good stuff. I wasn't hugging trees or nothing crazy, but it was beautiful for me. That's exactly right, man. Yeah, man, send it over. I appreciate you, Monk. Thank you so much, man. Shout out to the team, you dig? But yeah, it's exactly like that. But that's the thing about the information that they're giving us, bro, because they're saying that hunter-gatherers weren't smart people and they couldn't build things like pyramids and do things that they have done. So I don't know if it's necessarily the knowledge he would have. It's the because if he didn't have the knowledge, how did someone across the world have the knowledge? You know, like if they were building just like today, we have tree people in places. We have, you know, Africa and, you know what I'm saying, Brazil, I think even in China and Cambodia, we have people that live in the woods and the trees, and they don't come out. They not building cars, bro. They building things that help them in their world. So I understand you saying that he might not have the knowledge, but an airplane might not be the smartest thing for him to build and invest his time in as a caveman. And that's what I think the knowledge cap goes, because you only, you know, of course it's what you see you think you can achieve, you know what I'm saying? But it's also what's necessary for you to survive. Why would I build an airplane when I could probably build a gun and shoot? Not like that, not trying to be violent, but I could shoot my dinner instead of throwing a spear at it. Why would I even care about that? Or why I could build a four-wheeler to carry my stuff back and forth, eventually maybe even a truck to carry my food back and forth from here to there, or, you know, better clothing for me to wear. Like, it just, I get what you're saying, but it's almost like out of sight, out of mind. If I don't need to do that, if I don't need to fly nowhere, why would I build a plane? I need to eat. I'm a caveman. I need to build me a cave that's insulated. You dig? Like, before I get to a plane, I'm going to do all these steps. And that's why, you know, oh man, I love it. I love it all, man.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I hear you, Monk, but that I say those things because I'm saying, like, he would build something useful. He would build something useful, not necessarily a four-wheeler or a gun, but he would build, you know, it's like you built the spear, right? Then you built the bow and arrow, right? Then you built maybe the spear gun, you know, and then you elevate that, and then you build, you know, a wagon. Then you put the motor on the wagon. You know what I'm saying? And then you gradually get up. But that's why I'm saying, because I would say a caveman's gonna build what he needs. An airplane he don't need. He needs to get his food from the river to home, or, you know what I'm saying, the hunting ground to home. So I would think about how to get there faster. It's impossible if you're in the woods and in the cave to find metal and gasoline unless there's a civilization somewhere. So this is all just what we're doing. We're just chopping. But I would just say that because it was like, yo, like it would probably be a bicycle before a 4-wheeler. But, eventually it's like, yo, I need to throw a motor on this so I don't have to keep using my energy. I should have something that with a string on this so I don't have to keep on using all my power to throw this spear or things like that. Let me create a net to catch fish instead of fishing with a rod all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to feed the whole team. So that's why I think about 4-wheeler or gun or that. It's just like those are going to help him where he's at. That's all. Well, I see why David did what he did in the last video. Like, I can't give you the numbers because China and Russia, because then they'll come back for you. I see, David. I'm not going to count you out all the way, David, but funny, as you say, you let us know. But see what they talk about. He just said it right there. He didn't even interview, bro. That's just the homie he talked to. And they like, oh, did he ask you, did he tell you this, or did he tell you locations or how many numbers? Did he tell you how many? That's cold. He can't tell me how many? What am I gonna do with a number? Be like, oh yeah, they got 60 of them things over there. Just how they said earlier that they pick these people so that they could disclaim them. They said that. Shorty said that in the earlier interview, that they pick the people so that later on they could say something wrong with him. He ain't ours. Oh, he taking too many mushrooms. We don't know him. That's what's crazy. That's what we looking for, though. That's what we looking for in this grand scheme of things. We looking for the dots to connect. You know what I'm saying? Connect the dots, because David did his thing. You know what I'm saying? He told us what he told us. He told us that he couldn't tell us too much, but he told us enough that is like, go do your research, and hopefully, excuse me, people, hopefully one day the information will be placed in your hands and y'all will do with what you please. You dig? But he just said it. They try to put the mental issues on, bro. They try to say he's psych ward bound. You know what I'm saying? And they over here like, yo, that's the homie. I brought him around my family. Like, bro, cool. Ain't got no problems with bro. It's pretty telling is what bro said. Oh my God, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with the first wavelength UFO, UAP, alien talk. And y'all showed up and showed out. Shout out to my good guy, Juice Man. Monk in the building. Shout out to the team. Splash. You know what I'm saying? Justin, you came in here with dope questions. Thank you, Justin. Armando, thank you for the love. Tim, thank you. RPG, thank you. Shout out to the chat. Y'all showed up and showed love, and I appreciate it so much. We got like some K views already. Thank you. I just love alien talk. Y'all see it. You know what I'm saying? We really alien boys out here living on Earth. But we just want to know the information. To the government. Let us know. Bring one to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, do some, man. Because these hearings behind closed doors and this the whistleblowers with the fine lines. It's like, why are you guys allowing them to tell us something but not everything? Just give us the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's all we really want is the info. Give us the knowledge. You know? Spread the knowledge. Okay? So with that said, it's your boy Wave. This is the WaveLink, and we out this. Peace.